So before we continue with today's video, I want to talk to you guys about UK Soccer Shop. UK Soccer Shop has loads to offer, but in particular I really like the personalised gifts that they have to offer, as well as the t-shirts and a really cool concept kit which you can find on their website right now, all at an extremely affordable price. If you are interested, then make sure to check out uksoccershop.com using the link in the description down below to go check it out for yourself. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel. I hope you guys are all having a good morning, having a good week so far. Today, as you can see on screen, the title, the thumbnail, whatever, we are talking about Facundo Pellistri, the young Uruguayan who, has had a bit of a weird career at Manchester United so far. In terms of profile, let me find my mouse, I'm struggling here. 21 years old, Uruguayan, right winger for Manchester United, who joined back in October of 2020. Seems like a really long time ago now, and like I've said already, his development path has been really odd. He made his Uruguay full debut, he played at Uruguay at a World Cup, before even getting his first start for Manchester United, a club where he has been for 2.5 years. Weird development path, so I want to talk about him today. I want to talk about his development so far, what I think he's good at, what I think he's bad at, where he needs to improve, his development in the future, etc, etc. We'll start with his development thus far, and I'll be honest, it hasn't been good enough. Well, he's 21 years old now, so if we compare that, that's similar to players like Anthony. He's a similar age, he's a couple of years older than someone like Garnacho, and obviously, he isn't even at the height of those players, not even close to them really. Some of the reason for that is because, in my opinion, his development has just been wrong. Now, he played for Penarol, United signed him for about £8 million, I believe it was, and now he had a couple of loans to Alave in Spain. Why loan him there, is what I don't get. For a bit of context, Manchester United are a team which want to dominate possession and take control of games, and they have been for a few years. Even when they were bad, the idea was that United were going to be an elite team that could compete in the top 4 on a regular basis. Why loan him to a side that's competing in a relegation battle in Spain and actually got relegated last season? Doesn't really make sense to me. That, it doesn't add up. This is the sort of player that you loan to a possession side because that's what you want him to eventually be for United. So, in my opinion, his development has gone wrong. He didn't do very well at Alave, struggled for game time, but in my opinion, he was completely let down by the loan structure at United. However, this season has been a bit better for him. He's been given chances in the first team, 258 minutes at the time of recording. It's still not great for a 21-year-old, he'd still like more, but we are seeing him kind of come into the team a little bit. So let's talk about some of his strengths, because Ten Hag has given him a chance because he sees something. And I think when he plays, we all see something. I can't remember a cameo he's had this season where I haven't come away from it and gone, quite like that, I quite liked what I saw with this or that, or, every time I think I've mentioned it in the video that he's played and done alright. So, what is it that he's doing well? Well, one thing which he does really well is holds the width for his side. We know that Ten Hag likes that. United can often attack with a front 5, something like this. To do that, you do need a player to hold the width. And Pellistri, being right-footed on the right-hand side, is one of the few players in the squad which wants to really stick out on the right wing and play out there. And of course, that naturally gives United width. What he's good at in terms of on the ball is, I think his standout trait is his ball carrying. A bit like Garnacho on the left-hand side, he's very, very direct. Not a player which kind of keeps possession for the sake of it or ponders about on the ball. He gets the ball, sees the fullback and goes, alright, I'm going to take you on. And I really like to see that because, even the fact that he's right-footed on this side as well, it gives you that vibe of old-school traditional winger that wants to work a yard and get the ball into the box. Now, this is perhaps where one of my first question marks comes in. Does he have the ability to do that? Now, in terms of his dribbling, yes, good. He's quite quick. He's got that burst of pace, which is very useful. However, he's not particularly skillful. If we're talking top wingers, and of course this is the other end of the scale, Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia for Napoli, he just has bags and bags of tricks and skills which get him out of tight situations. Pellistri doesn't have that, so, he wants to work himself a yard and then get the ball into the box, which I like. I like the intent. Does he actually have the quality to do that? I'm not too sure. Now, whilst he may not have the quality to always do that, he does have the quality to come inside, and I have enjoyed some of his combination play in these areas when he comes inside and looks to combine with someone like Weghorst or Bruno Fernandes or Fred, and in general I think his play in these areas has been quite good in the final third, even with an overlapping right back or at times an underlapping right back. I think he has the right ideas. Now, at times he holds onto the ball a bit too long. We know he likes to dribble, of course, just spoken about it as his main strength. At times he tries to, or comes inside, dribbles, now release the pass. At times he can go a bit down an alleyway a little bit, so he needs to improve at that. Because when he does do it, he does it very well. So it's probably more of a decision-making thing than anything. When do you release the pass? When do you dribble? That's the decision. In terms of going back to positives, I've quite liked his link-up with Bruno Fernandes. Something we've seen no matter who has been on the right-hand side recently is that when the winger comes inside, Bruno Fernandes then overlaps, and Fernandes and Pellistri seem to have a pretty good understanding. Again, Pellistri with Bruno Fernandes sometimes playing this reverse ball in here is something I quite like. I think their understanding has been pretty good this season, and I think Fernandes is really good for Pellistri. He really helps him on the pitch. And in general, Facundo's doing pretty well. I think what you can probably gauge just from my tone in this video is it's hard to really go too in-depth. He isn't a player which has played a ton. Other clubs on loan, but even for United, he hasn't played a lot of football, so there's not too much to go off. I like him. I think technically he is very good, and I think he's an intelligent player. You know, technically secure on the ball. He doesn't turn over possession too often. If he does, he works very, very hard. Uruguay at the World Cup, he actually played at wing-back for a game, so that kind of highlights his defensive work rate, and he is good, and he is developing that bit of tenacity in his game to get stuck in. I mean, recently got the most absurd booking I've ever seen, but carried on for the rest of the game, getting stuck into tackles, and what I quite like is that even when he gets put to the floor, he doesn't roll about, he just kind of gets up, dusts himself off, and then makes the next run or goes after the ball, whatever. I quite like that attitude. I think, again, it's hard to go into too much detail, because we just don't know enough about him. I think the profile of him is actually really quite nice. I think there's a really good technical football in there. I think there's the real fundamental skill set that you need as a player. I think Pellistri has it. The question that I just have is actually the pure level of it. You know, you can have the good profile, you can be, you know, he's a good dribbler, he's good in tight spaces, decent crosser of the ball, good bit of speed, burst of acceleration, good work rate off the ball. But he has all those things, but does he have them to the top level? Quite frankly, at the moment, no. Does he have it to the level at which he should for a 21-year-old? Again, I'm not sure. One thing I do really like about him, though, is his movement off the ball. So that is probably something that I want to look at real quick, because I think for me, that is the thing which maybe separates him from other players at his age. I think his movement out of possession, or not even out of possession, his team is in possession, and he's making a run off the ball. That's where I really, really like him. So let's just check out that real quick, because it's something that we actually have evidence of. So we're going to do this by using Once Video Analyzer Pro, a really nifty football analysis software, which you can check out in the description down below. Really, really useful. I use it for a lot of my videos. You guys often see it, and it is really good with a lot of tools. So I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. What it's going to allow us to do today, though, is look at Facundo Pellistri's positioning and his movement. And what we can see here is in the Carabao Cup against Charlton United, or on a counter-attack. Casemiro's got the ball here, and we've got Facundo Pellistri at the top of our screen. Now, the first thing that we can see is he's providing the width for the team. So as United look to transition and move the ball forward, like so, he's in a really good position to kind of take the ball. Of course, he's now got the ball on the right-hand side, and this is where he shows a bit of intelligence, because Scott McTominay initially, to be fair, is going to make a really good run this way, and Pellistri's going to come this way. Now, what a lot of young wingers would do was maybe try and take this ball down the line, but Facundo Pellistri kind of recognises the movement of Scott McTominay and uses that as kind of his trigger, if you like, to move inside. And it kind of works really nicely. They kind of cross paths here. McTominay's going to go round, and it just distracts this defender here. He's now got his eyes on Scott McTominay, which is going to allow Pellistri to come further inside into this area and then slip a ball through. It's nothing incredible. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's a good bit of movement initially to hold the width. He then comes inside with good movement, and then it's good decision making. This other goal here actually focuses a little bit more on his movement off the ball, and this is what I really like, and this really impressed me. So Casemiro gets the ball here, and United are on a counter-attack. We can see Charlton kind of in a defensive shape here. Yes, they haven't got all their defenders back, but you know, they're filtering back into position. But I want to highlight Facundo Pellistri here, because he makes a really, really good run across the man. And what this is going to do is he knows that he's unlikely to get the ball. Now, there's a chance he does get the ball. Casemiro could play the reverse in here, so he is kind of making a run for himself as well. But more importantly, he's going to open up the room for Marcus Rashford. And what I want you to do, kind of as this clip just unfolds, is watch one defender for me. Watch this defender here, because he takes the bait and follows this way. And it just leaves so much room for Marcus Rashford. So let's just let it play for a second. Look, he follows him. They both run into this area here, and it just leaves Marcus Rashford in so much room. Again, it's very simple from Facundo Pellistri, but it's stuff which we don't necessarily see from wingers of this age. And the ball goes through, Marcus Rashford does very well, and United go on to win that game quite comfortably in the end. But again, it's Facundo Pellistri's movement off the ball which makes it happen. So the question is, yes, this is all good, the profile is good, is it good enough for United? Well, honestly, I'm not too sure. I'm not convinced at the moment. We haven't seen enough of him. I think, you know, if he is going to make it at United, he's going to be a late bloomer. Again, Garnacho's younger than him, and looks a lot better already. We kind of, at times, treat Facundo Pellistri like he's a youngster breaking through, but he is 21 years old now. You know, we've seen players at 18 a lot better than him. Again, Garnacho, for example. This isn't an 18-year-old having his first season in senior football. He is 21 years old now, so I think we need to see a bit more. In terms of how United are going to deal with it, I think he'll get a few more minutes this season, but not too many. And I think Ten Hag will probably send him out on loan in the summer, but I think it's important that this time round United get it right and loan him to the right place. Not a team which is fighting relegation, because United are never going to be in that situation. Send him to a possession-dominant side in what league I don't mind. It's got to be a good league. But send him to a possession-dominant side. I think that would do him the world of good. Get a full year of senior football for the first time, which is coming way too late, and then see from there. In general, I don't think he's quite got the quality. I think he's good without being outstanding. Maybe a decent squad player. Long term, is he going to be at United? Not convinced, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know, though, what you guys think in the comments down below. Again, it's difficult to say just because we haven't seen him that much. I think he's a good player, good profile. Probably not quite got the ceiling which you would want of a top player. But again, let me know what you think. What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? Are there some different positions we could see him in? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.